Well, I'm back at this spot again this morning, and well, two things I guess. One is I'm absolutely amazed that my phone is still working after I dropped it in this water yesterday, and the second thing is it's pretty cool. It's 1 degree, and well, normally I wouldn't fish in these conditions really if I had my choice. I've got to go home today at about lunchtime, and the trouble with that is that I'm fishing in the coldest part of the day. Obviously, most of the fish in this water will not be feeding. They'll have closed down because of the really cold temperatures. They'll feed very sparingly and probably only at certain times of the day. So there's a lot going against me actually catching any fish, but I wanted to have a try. If I'm near water, I've got to try. So once again, the water's travelling pretty fast. I've picked an area of slack water to fish into. That's where I caught yesterday. What I will do is I'm going to put a reasonable amount of feed in. The berley I'm using today doesn't really have much food in it. It doesn't have much breadcrumb or anything like that in it. It's my own style of berley that basically has food signatures. You know, it smells like food. It puts the scent of food in the water without actually carrying anything that will feed the fish off, because in these conditions the fish aren't going to be eating much, so you don't want to feed them off. I will throw a little bit of bait in, and I mean the physical bait I'm using. So what I'll do is I'll mix some worms are the primary bait today, in with my berley, and I'll also, I bought quite a few worms there. I'll actually throw handfuls of the worm castings, that the actual dirt that they're in. I'll make those into balls, mix it with a bit of berley as well, and I'll throw handfuls of that out very loosely so that it actually goes downstream to bring up some fish. Now the odd worm or two is not going to feed a fish off. I wouldn't throw handfuls of worms in, that probably would. And what I'll do is hopefully bring them up to this spot. So yeah, it's a bit of a challenge, but I don't mind that. As well as having the worms, I bought things like, I bought bread, I bought corn. I've picked up some of the shrimp in the water with a little shrimp cage, so I'll use those. I've got some of the artificial baits that I've used in the past, which if you've seen my previous videos you would have seen. So I've got a bit of an array of baits there, and I want to use just about anything I can to get the fish in, and then I'll try some other tactics if that doesn't work, to try and get a bite. So let's see how that goes. So I'm just getting handfuls of the berley. It's got a little bit of corn in it, some of the worms in it, and my standard berley mix. And as I said, not too much food in here, and the berley mix itself doesn't really have any food in it. And I'm just going to toss that down the line, the same line that my bait is in. So I'm going to probably, I can't throw quite as far as I've cast in, but what I will be doing is throwing as far as I can towards that, and this will just drift past it. So I'll put a little bit of this in every now and again and see what I can do as far as bringing those fish up. Where I'm fishing here is near a bridge. There's quite a bit of traffic, and there's actually quite a bit of noise generally around the area. So I mean, apart from the sounds of bird life and everything else, there's the cars going by, occasionally there'll be boats and things. The fish get used to this because it's constant. What they don't get used to is thumping on the bank. Now I'm not fishing that far out, so I've got to be really careful about me moving around on this bank, because that thudding will definitely put the fish off, especially on conditions like this one is really hard. If you ever go to an aquarium, sometimes they say don't tap, sometimes that has on the aquariums themselves, on the glass front of the aquarium, don't tap the glass. Because if you do, you'll notice the fish just sort of shoot off in terror. That's what happens here. Any thudding on the earth here is radiated through the water, and the fish pick up on that very quickly. That usually represents danger for them. So the big thing here is make sure that when you're actually fishing in a spot, especially if it's close in, that you basically either sit in place or you walk gently. Thudding and jumping around is really going to cause some problems, with those fish on those hard days.
When I got here this morning, it was really cold, as I said, but I tell you what, the person who's really going to know how cold it is Luke here. So Luke, you were in that water doing a bit of cold water therapy. I saw you standing in there, and you say for about 15 minutes?
Yeah, about 15 minutes, yep.
Okay,
That's right.
How cold do you reckon that water was?
Oh, I couldn't tell you, to be honest, but a few degrees, maybe 5 degrees.
Yeah,
Oh, yeah.
Indeed. So this is how cold the water was today. And Kane, his friend, you said, Kane, you went in there too, but it wasn't as long.
Lasted 2 minutes.
Okay, I'm with you, Kane. I couldn't last that long either. But look, thank you very much. I didn't have my thermometer today, but you did just as well. So thanks for that. Okay, thanks,
bites
guys.
right now on this rod.
And yep, into it. Whoa. Okay. He doesn't want to play games.
Got another rod in.
And now he's tangling everything up. Fantastic.
I had another rod in there.
Which is a bit of a pity. And he's just broken off. Okay.
Lost everything. Now that was disappointing. That was disappointing. I lost the fish then because I had another rod in just on the side here. Lines got tangled up. I couldn't focus on my rod and the fish got off. It just got off the hook. The trouble is, because of the bites and because of the way it was fighting, I don't think it was a carp, which means it's probably an Australian native, and I missed it today. Maybe the only one I could possibly get today. It was going to feed, it'll have a very short feeding period, and I missed it. Okay, learning there, focus on one rod in conditions like these.
Well, I just about lost my rod on that one. Goodness. You really got to be concentrating. And this is just responding to the burley that I put out there. So it took a little while, but if I don't lose this in the snags, it'd probably be a carp most likely. Let's see. Oh, and he's using the current, that strong current in the water, really to his advantage. So, and he's going to snags. Oh no, come on. It is a carp, yeah, it is a carp, but I'm happy to have caught anything today in this water. Just get my net. It's actually not a bad sized fish actually, and it's just funny, I've just been trickle feeding that light burley down, casting in the same spot. So even in winter in these tough conditions, okay, it's not a Murray cod or a silver perch, but it's a fish, and you can have a bit of fun, if you do the right thing. I'll just show you the size of this guy. If I can now, I'm going to try and do this without actually, okay, he's trying to drown me here. Yeah, be interesting to see if I can do this without actually losing my camera like I did yesterday. Anyway, I'll just get this hook out of him. Okay, there we go. I don't know, 3 kilos maybe. And look, in these conditions I'm happy, as I said, to catch anything. Bit of a fight, bit of a shock. I wasn't focused. That happens a little bit, but kept quiet, didn't stomp around, kept the burley going out, little drip feeding of bait. Okay, we got a fish. Not bad. Now, another thing to do. I just caught that fish, right? I'm hoping to catch others. I may not be successful today, but what I'll do is, while I'm baiting up and getting ready again, I'm going to throw another handful of my burley mix out there with a little bit of bait in it, so that I keep the fish interested. So while I'm doing something else, my burley is working for me. So I'll do that again, then I'll rebait, set up, cast in, and hopefully get some more. So just
Just throwing, you know, golf ball size pieces of burley into that spot. And keep the fish coming up.